Welcome back to my channel. I'm James, and today we're going to be deep diving into Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now this is one of those earlier Jim Carrey, kind of more dramedy, which is a drama and comedy type roles that he did. Very, in my opinion, similar in the sense of his acting style to kind of like The Truman Show was, and some of his other more serious roles, but it does have comedy in it as well. It actually is one of my personal favorite of Jim Carrey's roles, and I did really enjoy the film, which I'll touch on later on here in this review. But today we're going to be doing my exclusive 4K versus the original Blu-ray release image comparisons. And that's something I do exclusively here on this channel, where I get the data off of the disc, the native data that's on these discs, and I show you image comparisons between this and the native data off of the Blu-ray discs. So if you're not subscribed yet to this YouTube channel, make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Now, while we're going through the image comparisons, I'll tell you my thoughts on the movie, tell you what the actual testing results were as I tested through all of the discs in this set, let you know if this is worth spending your money on and upgrading to over the original Blu-ray release, or if it's something you should skip altogether. And at the end, as always, I'll wrap it up with my review score to let you know how this compares to the hundreds upon hundreds of other 4Ks that I've reviewed and tested out here exclusively on my YouTube channel. Now to start off with, I'm going to show you an image up above of the original Blu-ray release. Now, this, as I said, is the native image off of the discs. As always, these are pulled directly from the discs, and without all of the filters and things you can add to your TV to pump the saturation up or anything like that. Now, if you want more detailed explanation about that, I've done that on hundreds of other videos here on this YouTube channel, kind of explaining more about that. But basically, that's what's present on these discs that you're going to see above. Now, something you'll notice before we get into the 4K here is on the original Blu-ray release, we're starting off with this image here of him kind of getting out of bed, and this is at the beginning of the film, towards right at the beginning, basically. And on the original Blu-ray release here, it was very, very dark in that scene. Now, you can obviously see the wall behind him when he's sitting on his bed there, but overall, his pajamas and his face was just kind of like a black silhouette altogether, and it kind of lost all the detail in a lot of things, especially the chair you see in the corner of that image. Really, it just kind of, you can see the chair, but you can't really tell very well much what the color was, or a lot about that image itself was kind of gone. And that's kind of present in a lot of what's present on this Blu-ray release throughout it. There's a lot of scenes that it kind of flashes between different colors, and it's very well done where it kind of doesn't let you get comfortable with one sense of the image because it's flashing throughout time periods in his mind. It's done very well with different colors and saturations and darkness and things, but overall in the Blu-ray itself, in this scene and throughout the film, when it got to darker scenes, you really couldn't see a lot in the scene overall. It really was just overall a dark image, and that's what I wanted to start off with showing you here on the Blu-ray release. Now, in comparison to the new 4K Ultra HD release of that same image, right away you should notice some drastic differences between that Blu-ray, what I was explaining. Now, in the 4K, it's not that it's completely lightened the whole scene and made it look unnatural. Basically, they went back to the original cinematographer and did a brand new 4K master and scan for this. And they did a new color grading as well to the way that it was presented in theaters, that basically the Blu-ray had things messed with it that made it basically either overly dark, or some scenes were oversaturated more so than they should have been, or so on and so forth. They've actually adjusted it correctly to the way it should have been that it was presented in theaters, versus what the Blu-ray did kind of incorrectly when you see them side by side. Well, as you notice in that image above on that Blu-ray, like we were talking about how dark it is, in this, you can actually see his face, and you can see some more detail on his actual pajamas he's wearing. And you look at that chair there, and you can actually see the color of the chair now. And a lot of things in the room, you can see so much more detail, and it shows you how soft that original Blu-ray image really was, and basically how in some of those dark scenes that the Blu-ray had actually gotten rid of a lot of the detail overall that is really present now on this new 4K scan that really do stand out. Now, I'm going to show you another scene after this here of basically Jim Carrey's face. It's another kind of dark to light scene that I wanted to kind of show you the drastic differences between this 4K Ultra HD release and the original Blu-ray release here. Now, in Jim Carrey's face, you can kind of see his face in that Blu-ray. It's not that you can't see it, but it does really have a dark, just overall sheen over it that you lose so much detail in, like the stubble on his face and the skin tones, and it makes the one side of his face that has the shadow look so overly dark that it looks kind of unnatural in the scene. And that's kind of where that Blu-ray throughout the whole film, you'll notice if you sat down side by side, like what you're seeing in these image comparisons, that really the Blu-ray, once you started to play it and go back and forth between the two, the new 4K really does add so much more elements to that film that were just missing in that Blu-ray, that because of this new scan, it's still dark on his face. You can still see that it's supposed to be shadowed on one side of his face and so on, but you can still see his stubble and the skin tones. And because it is a native 4K 2160p representation, it's not even an upscale, it's a native 4K. Man, does it have so much more detail even in that stubble and on his face, and even the background behind him. You can see so much more with the lights to darks, showing between basically on his face the darkness, and then with the lights behind, I mean, because the image behind him is so much brighter, you can see so much more in this new 4K, especially with the HDR on it. Now, talking about the HDR here, which does make a big difference on this as well. This did come with Dolby Vision and HDR10. Now, between both Dolby Vision and the HDR10, in this case, Kino and Lorber did a good job, and I don't really think there were such drastic differences between either one of them, where when I played it on my HDR10, then I went to the Dolby Vision, it wasn't one of those things where one stood out so much leaps and bounds ahead of the other one. Now, I did like the Dolby Vision. I like the technology behind Dolby Vision, just slightly better than HDR10, but it's not noticeable enough where I'm going to say that, hey, if you have an HDR10 display and an HDR10 4K player, that's all it displays, that you're going to be disappointed with it. You're not. The upgrade with that HDR10 on this is still a substantially huge upgrade over what that Blu-ray has on it, and that's where that lights to darks, like that image that I showed you a few minutes ago and things, all of those are so heavily represented on this that looks so much better than anything that Blu-ray had, that I was really shocked at how much better this film really was presented on this new 4K master. Now, as always, with every review and every video I do, I've posted the link that if you decide after watching this review and hearing my review score, you want to pick this up and buy this. I've posted the pre-order and the buy link, depending on when you're watching this, down in the description section right below. Now, I did get this in quite a bit early for review, so this should come out either on release date or before release date, based on how long it takes me to compile all of the screenshots and get all this done. But this was in about a week early. That link down there will take you straight to Amazon. You click on that, it takes you straight out there, makes it nice and easy for you, and that's at no extra cost to you. It's the same price as everywhere and on sale through that link below. And it ships anywhere worldwide, so no matter where you live worldwide and no matter where you're watching this review. If after watching this you want to pick this up and add this to your collection, make sure to click through one of those links that I've posted either in the description section below or as a pinned comment in the comment section below. Now, the other nice thing that Kino Lorber did is they did keep this in the original aspect ratio of 1.85 to 1. They didn't mess with it or cut it down at all. But there are some things that did come out with nuances on this 4K that are a big change over what that Blu-ray had as well. For example, the film grain on the original Blu-ray release was kind of all over the place. It had a lot of instabilities throughout it. Sometimes you couldn't see the film grain much at all, and that's because they had some DNR that was used in it. Sometimes you could see the film grain. It was really heavy and blocky, and overall the Blu-ray just was not an amazing presentation of the film, and I really felt like it was a soft presentation and really lacked a lot of details that could have been present if that Blu-ray release would have been done correctly originally. Now, on the new 4K, Kino Lorber did a good job working with the original cinematographer to make sure on the new color grading, the new scan, the new master they did for this, that it actually retains the film grain without it being DNR'd out. So Kino Lorber did a great job on that, retaining the natural film grain. And the film grain does look good and pretty stable throughout the film. Though I will say, there are some slight fluctuations that do appear when I was going through my testing side by side. And they aren't as heavy on this 4K release as they were on the original Blu-ray release. But when you compare them side by side, you would hit some of those instabilities. They looked horrible on the Blu-ray release because they were really unstable. Whereas on this, it was just slight fluctuations that have been fixed. A lot of what was actually unstable on that Blu-ray has been fixed on the 4K Ultra HD release, which added to the overall better filmic look that this has on this new 4K versus what that Blu-ray had. Now, talking about that image differences between the two as well, something that kind of came up was when I originally watched that Blu-ray, I kind of thought it was supposed to be kind of soft looking overall throughout the film. Well, after watching the 4K, you realize that's not the case at all. It's just simply that Blu-ray wasn't done correctly, and because they had instabilities and so many problems with the film grain and the blocky film grain, and then, like I said, some heavily dark scenes that were way too dark and shouldn't have been, you realize how good the film should have actually looked on physical media. It actually makes it look the best that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind has ever looked. Now, if you enjoy all of this exclusive content that I create here on my YouTube channel, make sure to join my Collectors VIP Club membership. That program is where I release a bunch of exclusive extra content each month that I give exclusively to my VIP Club members. Just like I recently did the exclusive $6 Million Man comparison review. That's comparing all the Blu-ray releases of the $6 Million Man and doing these image comparisons, Blu-ray versus Blu-ray, going through all my testing data, showing you everything that's different between all of the releases. And that's a big exclusive video that's available right now in my Collectors VIP Club membership. Now, I will be having more videos coming out in that. Every month I'll release a new one. Well, the next one, big one that's coming up, is an exclusive video I'm doing that's going to be a comparison review of The Virginian. It's being completely remastered in 1080p HD on Blu-ray for the first time ever. And I'll be doing an exclusive comparison between the original DVD releases and the Blu-ray releases for my Collectors VIP Club members. Now, I will be doing some 4K versus Blu-ray image comparisons and exclusive reviews in there as well. So if you want to support this channel and you want to be a part of all of the exclusive content I release here on this channel, for less than the price of a cup of coffee each month, you can support this channel and get access to all of my exclusive content. And to join that membership, there will be a button up above, as well as on the main page here of my YouTube channel, and below each and every video there is a join button you can click on, and that lets you join my Collectors VIP Club membership. And there's a ton of extra perks and benefits you get. So make sure, if you enjoy all this content I create here on my YouTube channel, to join my VIP Club. Also, if you want to support these videos, you can always give a super thanks through the super thanks link down below. The button just looks like that, and it allows you to give a tip of any amount on each of these videos. That goes right back into this channel as well, and that's how I'm able to afford to keep creating all of these videos that all of you enjoy watching. It's only through all of your support that I can continue to create all of this content. Now, talking about the audio on this, it does have English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and a 2.0 mix, both in English. Though I am going to talk about the 5.1 here because that's where I noticed a slight difference between the original Blu-ray release and this new 4K Ultra HD release from Kino Lorber. Now, it's not too heavy, kind of like the image was, but on the original Blu-ray release, it kind of more had a softer sounding audio mix. Well, on the 4K Ultra HD release, it does have a much cleaner sounding DTS HD Master Audio, more so than what the Blu-ray had. Now, percentage-wise, how much more? I'm going to give the Kino Lorber about a 10% better sounding audio mix than what the Blu-ray had. So it's not as huge a difference as what you have with the visual presentation, but we'll take any upgrade we can, and it was nice that the audio mix did sound better than the Blu-ray did, so it was another upgrade that was on this 4K that did make it a nice little addition. Subtitle-wise on this, you do get English subtitles, but only English subtitles. Now, the film did come out in 2004, and it is a 108-minute runtime, so it's a pretty fast-paced movie. And basically, the story is about Jim Carrey's character and Kate Winslet, who is basically, they were in love, and it's the story of he finds out that she's basically erased him from her memory. So it's the story of basically learning and living with loss, and it's kind of an allegory to loss in life in general, regardless of like a relationship, romance, or anything like that. You know, if you've lost a loved one, would it be better, and this is kind of the question the film asks, would it be better to have your memory erased completely of that person so you don't have the loss or the feelings or the emotions or sadness from that loss or relationship? Or did you learn and grow from that person being in your life that you'll take the sadness with the gladness and the happiness and the joy of what you learned from having that person in your life, even if they're not in it anymore? And I think that's where I really, really enjoyed the film. I've had a lot of things in my life, lots of sad things that have happened, and I'm not complaining or griping, and I'm sure everybody has, but it is a question that always kind of like intrigued me. And it's done with kind of a slight sci-fi element, but it's done comedically in the film, which is why I really was attracted to the film, and I've seen it probably now 5 or 6 times. And it is one of those films that I enjoy watching. No, I won't say that I sit down and watch it every single week, but I will probably say every year or so I go back and watch it again. And I do enjoy it when I watch it because it is one of those films that does make you think. And it's done in one of those orders of where you kind of have to piece the story together because it's not always done in chronological order. So you're piecing together different things that happen and different memories that Jim Carrey's going through of were they present, past, future, and piecing it all together. And it's a fun ride. Got some great comedy in it. I'll be honest with you, there is some funny scenes in it that are done very like deadpan. Like they'll do it and you'll just kind of start laughing because you realize like it's just, I don't know. To me, it was such a great film. I loved the script. I loved the acting. I really thought Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet were great in it. It has a bunch of supporting cast in it. Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, Tom Wilkinson, and that's just to name a few. But overall, it is one of those films that just touched me and my heart, and I just thought it was so well done without being so heavy. And that's the thing to me is it wasn't so heavy about loss where you're sitting there and you're weeping the whole time. And that's my thing is I don't personally love films where you're sitting there just crying the whole film. I understand there's a place for those, but this was done well enough that it's got humor and it's got some things that you kind of sit there and you're like, yeah, that is kind of thought-provoking, and you really get to like the characters. And then sometimes you don't like the characters and you think kind of Jim Carrey's a jerk or Kate Winslet's a jerk or back and forth, but it is realistically, in my opinion, done through the mind of what he's seeing. So there's scenes like where him and Kate Winslet are in a kitchen sink being kind of like washed in the dishes, and it's kind of him playing off that in your mind that's how it is, and then he's like a little kid at the fridge trying to get things out of the fridge and he can't reach up, and it's done so cleverly telling this story of his life with her and how she affected him, how he affected her, how they changed, and love, loss, and what we regret, what we don't regret, and do you really want to get rid of memories or good memories or bad memories? And that's where I said if it's one of those films you haven't seen, I do recommend diving into it and watching it because I do think it is one of those great classic films that as time goes on will continually grow as a cult classic because the more people explore and find this film, the more they find that, man, without all these Marvel films, and not to diss all the superhero films going on, but this was an era of when I went to the cinema or I'd rent films and watch films, and you could pick up a film like this and really be blown away just by the story, the music in it's really good, the acting, and you just had a great time watching the film and realizing that, hey, it did make me think, and you do really enjoy the ending of the film, and you want to go back and watch it again because you kind of piece more things together each time you watch it. So as far as the film goes, it is a film that I do recommend if you haven't checked it out yet to definitely give this film a watch. Now, the film is rated R, so do keep in mind it does have strong language, there is some drug references, and some brief butts. And what I mean by that is Jim Carrey's butt is in it, but anyhow, that's kind of where the rating comes from, just so you're aware of that. Now, showing you what you get in this, you do get in the first pressings these slip covers. I do like these from Kino Lorber. I've been collecting all of their 4K releases from the beginning anyways. Shows it on the side there. Now, talking about the special features on this. This 4K Ultra HD release and the Blu-ray that's included in this does include all of the original special features that were present, including the music videos, deleted scenes that were all included in this original Blu-ray release. So, good news is if you have this Blu-ray release, you're not missing out on any special features that were included on this at all, not even one. They are all present on this new release from Kino Lorber. Now, when you get inside here, it does have your 2 discs, and it does have your Blu-ray disc, which is the majority of your special features are contained, other than a commentary, are contained on your Blu-ray disc. On your Blu-ray disc, it is a BD50, and for those of you that are in my international audience, so outside of Region A, the Blu-ray disc is Region A locked. So if you want to access the special features on this, you will have to have a region-free or multi-region Blu-ray or 4K player. Now, keep in mind, on the 4K Ultra HD disc, that one is region-free. I did test it out as well, just like I did the Blu-ray. That is region-free, so no matter where you live worldwide, you can enjoy the audio commentary, the movie with obviously the audio, and obviously Dolby Vision or HDR10. So the 4K disc is region-free, and it is a BD100. So great job there from Kino Lorber, not cutting down the disc or anything like that. Now overall, I do think the film's worth checking out, and as far as this 4K release goes compared to that Blu-ray, it is a drastic upgrade. Color-wise, you've got obviously all those scenes we've talked about, and that's kind of what we're in this for. How much of an upgrade? Well, for my review score for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, this release gets a great 9.3. So, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind from Kino Lorber on 4K Ultra HD versus that Blu-ray is a must-buy. You need to buy this and add this to your collection. Kino Lorber did a great job. I really liked this release. I think they did a good job retaining the natural film grain, and overall, I was shocked at how big of an upgrade this really was over that Blu-ray. You'll never watch the Blu-ray again. You'll get rid of that Blu-ray. You'll be happy you got rid of it. And for this film, because it varies so much in his mind, as you've seen from those screenshots above, it's kind of just all over the place of a film, going to different things, and it's a wonderful film if you haven't checked it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you've seen like Being John Malkovich or Adaptation with Nicolas Cage, any of those types of films, I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is actually one of the best of those. So I was really excited they did release it on 4K Ultra HD. And again, Kino Lorber doing an outstanding job with these 4Ks. I've done dozens of these reviews of Kino Lorber's 4K Ultra HD releases, and so far they've been doing a really great job on a lot of these. And if you want to check out any of those, I've done Misery, Silence of the Lambs, Touch of Evil, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Great Escape, and that's just to name a few. I could go on, and I've done reviews on a lot of theirs. Overall, I was really impressed with this one, and it was such a drastic upgrade. This one is a must-buy. Make sure to start that conversation in the comment section below. Let me know if you've seen this film. And if you're excited to buy this or upgrade to this on 4K Ultra HD. I'm always curious if people saw some of these films that came out. Like, this one was 2004, and it didn't do very good in theaters, but it is one of those films that is just a wonderful film to embark on. Also, if you decide you're going to pick this up or add this to your collection, make sure to click through that link in the description section below, or as a pinned comment in the comment section below. That takes you straight out to Amazon. Also, make sure to join my VIP Collectors Club. That way you don't miss out on any of this exclusive content, and that does help to support this YouTube channel, and it's the best way possible to support this YouTube channel, so I can keep creating all this content that all of you love watching. And the only way I can keep doing this is always through all of your love and support. And I do appreciate all the support all of you have given over the years. Also, don't forget you can give a super thanks down below, even if it's $1 or $2. That does go straight back into this channel and helps me to keep creating these content as well. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a like for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And I hope all of you, as always, have a blessed day and have always got something new and exciting coming out very soon.